We all have a to-do list. Here's an idea. Save hundreds of dollars on car insurance on your to-do list. And the good thing is you don't have to drop off or pick up anything. All you have to do is go to geico.com. In just 15 minutes, you can save 15% or more on car insurance. This company, Geico, who's been with Spike's Car Radio for the longest time, has been offering great rates and great service for over 75 years. And anytime you need help, you can speak to one of their trained specialists 24/7. The company is Geico. Go to geico.com. It may be the most rewarding thing you do today.
Now, Podcast One brings you Spike's Car Radio, a downloadable cars and coffee, hosted by writer, comedian, and automotive enthusiast, Spike Ferriston. Now, here's Spike.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Spike's Car Radio. I'm doing this little insert, this little added piece at the top of the show, because, as you know, our 1987 Porsche 911 was stolen. I want to deliver you the story on what happened and how we got the car back. After that, I'm going to play you my interview with Robert Bollinger, and Matt Farah joins in, and we're going to talk about Bollinger Motors and their new cars. They've got the all-electric SUVs. You probably saw them online or maybe at the LA Auto Show, the Bollinger B1 and the Bollinger B2. But before that, boy, what was it? Friday, maybe. Here, let's try to get Zuckerman on the phone while we're doing this. I get a text that said in the afternoon, 87 911 was stolen, which I thought, frankly, was a Zuckerman joke. Turns out, not a joke. Let's call him right now, and I apologize if he answers the phone with a profanity. That's Zuckerman. Hold on.
Okay, I'm here.
All right. So what day was this? This was Friday. You texted me and you said the 87 was, or was it Thursday?
No, sir, that was Thursday, sir.
Oh, Thursday. Okay. I know what happened, but tell our listeners what happened. How did this happen? Where did it happen?
Okay. Well, first of all, let's just start with the basic premise of stupid. Stupidity is where all this begins and where it ends. But what I did...
And who's the stupid person, Zuckerman?
Me, of course, and there's several other people. I can eat my crow when it's hot. I can say it.
I love what it is. It was something maybe people don't know. Maybe they hear it, but you're a very candid, honest person, and you own your mistakes, and it's admirable. But you made a mistake.
I made a mistake. I left the keys in the car. Okay,
now,
it doesn't get more stupid.
This is behind your law firm where you're working. Right. Presumably, you went out for lunch or something and came back.
Right.
And you brought the car behind the law firm, right?
Instead of the normal garage.
I see.
There is the little twist in the story.
Okay.
Because, as you know, there's another building where I parked the car, but I could not access that building because I had badgered the city of Beverly Hills so much to repave the alley in that section. You know, I fucked myself, basically.
So they were doing that, and so you pull in with a car.
And this is, in the morning, I'd done the same thing. I said to the valet parker, I said, keys are in the car, put the car in when the alley is clear, which is what he did in the morning. And when I came back from lunch, unfortunately, I did not see Jose, the valet parker, but I left the keys in the car like I did in the morning. Now, that was stupid number one. Stupid number two is that one of my clerks came into my office maybe about 2 o'clock, and he said, there's a guy looking at your car. And
can I just interrupt for 1 second? Because I'm still not clear. So you left the keys in the car, but the valet wasn't there, but you figured he'll see the car and he'll grab the keys.
Exactly, because he's running between two lots. So he's going back and forth. That you don't see him for a moment doesn't mean he's like checked out for the day. He's just over at the next place and he's coming back. Okay. So Dan comes in and says, there's a guy on a bike looking at your car. And I thought, there's a guy
on a bike looking at your car. Yeah.
Right. And he looks kind of weird. And I say, but I have to finish giving instructions to 3 different people. And by the time I do that, that has gone out of my head. But mind you, it's one of these things. I look back, I knew that I was missing something. There was a slight irritation in my brain, like something was undone and unfinished, at which point Jose came running in with a look of terror on his face. And he said, yeah, he's the valet. And he says, did you take your car?
Oh, dear.
He says, do you have your car? No, Jose, I don't have my car. What does he think? I got it in my pocket? But I said, don't you have my... Then I say, but don't you have my car? Don't you have the car? And he says, no, you have the car. So like two idiots were accusing each other of having the car. And then like a couple of idiots, we run outside to look at the empty spot, which is what you do when your car's been stolen. Oh. You stare at the empty spot.
And what did you feel like in that moment? What did you feel like?
Okay. Self-loathing and anger. I was so mad at myself. I was so angry, and mainly because I had a role in it, and I was trying to reconcile my own stupidity. And of course, I have a lot of people working for me. So, everybody's running up to me. Did your car get stolen? And I'm so upset. God. I'm so upset, and I'm trying not to scream at people. Like, get the fuck away from me. Leave me alone. And I was just so upset. And I told my operations guy to pull up the tape. And then I called the police department. And so two things came. Number one, you see this transient guy. He's like a middle-aged Caucasian guy with long, stringy hair, thin, he's like a messed out drug addict. He's been on a meth diet. He's just basically bones and some skin, and he's got an old 10-speed, which, mind you, he left.
He did. I didn't get the bike. Do you have it?
Well, the crime lab took it away, but I can laugh at that now. It's a new kind of ride sharing. He swapped out he left me the bike.
Yeah, he upgraded.
And he took the car. And yes, fair trade. I got the stupid penalty. He got to take the car, but I can see he's hanging around the car, and the valet guy comes up, and they're like talking. Oh, they're right at the passenger door of the car talking. And Jose, the valet guy, told me he was asking about the car. He loved the car. He wanted to know what year it was, how clean it was. He was very enthusiastic.
So he's very particular about the cars he steals. He wants to learn about them first.
He really was into this car. He couldn't believe it, and he had to help somebody with their car. He left the guy there, and then the guy just got in the car and just drove right off. Wow. And I had, here's one great little detail. I had backed into the space, so the front was facing out. The guy just had to get in, drive forward out the alley into the street.
Wow.
So he just drove on out, Ferriston. He drove on out.
And then you texted me. I was shocked. I'll tell you, I was upset, and it's funny. It was, and I told you this, it was less about the car than it was about the sorting that you and I had done to this car.
Exactly.
That was the loss. Like, this car drove perfectly. Everything about it delivers that satisfying drive. And you and I both know how rare it is to have a car that every time you get in it, you feel good. And
exactly.
That feeling's gone now. That guy has it.
He has the car, and it was like everything was perfect. Remember, we got the stereo rebuilt. You had the speaker guy, the kooky speaker guy come. Yep. There wasn't one thing in that car that was not time capsule perfect.
And you felt it too, right? When you drove it, we would call each other and go, "This thing is just perfect." Just perfect when it drives. That's what we do, listeners, because there are a bunch of folks out there now going, well, Plan Z. All right? You're witnessing Plan Z now.
But anytime you buy a vintage car, it takes effort. You're never going to get
No, I mean the stolen part, Zuckerman. What happens when it's stolen? Well, when it's stolen from both.
You're all fucked.
Yeah, everybody's screwed. But, okay, so you and I sit on the information for a day, right? Or maybe half a day.
I must have told you in the late afternoon, I told you in the late afternoon, and then
Right.
we just decided to take. You suggested action the next day.
Yeah. Okay. So here's what happens from there. Zuckerman and I decide to sit on it. Zuckerman then reviews the tape and sees it's our homeless friend with the bike who's upgraded to the car. And we make some quick calculations and go, this guy's joyriding. He's not going to put this in a shipping container. He's not going to break it down for parts. It's an 87 911. You just don't steal those cars. You steal Hondas and Toyotas. That most likely this joyride is going to end when this guy's high ends, and he's going to leave the car on the side of the road, to which point I call Zuckerman, and we're chatting. He's at Cicconi's. I'm in my office, and I say, why don't we reach out to the greater Porsche community just to alert Los Angeles? Most of our followers are in Los Angeles, in case anybody sees it, because it could take quite some time for a car to accrue tickets day after day to be found deserted. So that's when, I think I told you, Zuckerman, I was on Sunset on my way to a meeting, and at a stoplight I put together that post with the license plate that it's stolen. My most popular post until found, which is now my new most popular post. And, you know, everybody from Magnus Walker, who else, Zuckerman?
Jalopnik, Porsche, everybody.
Oh, Jalopnik picked it up. Jason Torchinsky, thank you. Everybody felt horrible about it, even though we, didn't want any real sympathy. We just wanted everybody to keep their eyes out. The Porsche community just wrapped their arms around us, and everybody vowed to keep a look for this car. But one very, very important guy, a fan of the podcast here, his Instagram is Real Beverly Hills Cop. His name is Ryan. And I happened to be on Instagram that night, Zuckerman, and I was looking at his post, and I said, hey, if you can, check out my post, our car got stolen. This guy, this officer at the Beverly Hills Police Department said, I am on this. I am taking this over. I am going to get this car from you guys. He agreed, by the way, Zuckerman, he agreed with us right away. He said, look, it sounds like a transient, and, that means this car is going to be around. You're going to find it. And then he messaged me late, like at night, and I didn't have time to respond. I went to bed, right? And that's when I woke up to messages from you and messages from him that this car had been found, right? And
right.
Since you're on the phone, let me just explain it to the listeners here, because this is a really cool detail. When Zuckerman reported the car stolen, it goes into a computer system that allows LAPD, Beverly Hills cops, as they're passing anybody, their cars are reading license plates. The computers on the cars are reading license plates automatically. And if the car is stolen, it will ping the driver, the officer in the car, and say the car that just went by is stolen. And that is what happened on Friday night. Now, at the same time, Zuckerman, our friend Ryan Roy, our mutual friend from Hollywood, said on the Citizen app, there's a police chase going on at midnight with a silver car, and then someone writes a silver 911. Turns out to be our car. Now, the Beverly Hills Police Department have confirmed this story. This guy drove by the cops. The police turned around, went after him. A couple patrol cars went after him. They said, they were reporting back, this guy is a really good driver. He's driving really fast, and he's driving really well. And as usually happens in these cases, in a police chase, 90% of the time, they're hitting a telephone pole. They're hitting parked cars. They're destroying the car. Not this guy. He lost the police officers. He makes 3 turns and loses everybody. Okay?
He's a wheelman.
He's a wheelman. He's a driver, right? So at that point, it's reported that some people in a nearby apartment building said the guy you're chasing that they were following on the Citizen app just deserted this 911 in front of our apartment building. The police turn around, go to the apartment building, and there is our car. Door open, car running, car keys in it. And Zuckerman, what else did they find in it?
Well, this is our favorite detail. Not my meth pipe, his meth pipe.
They found a kit with methamphetamine pipe, and
his masturbatory aids.
Pornography, but not just any pornography, period correct pornography.
Yes.
What was one of the ones they found? I said it to you today.
They told me it was fat ass, spelled P-H-A-T.
Fat ass girls. Yeah, that was just one of them. Andy had a furry blanket in it. Look, we were cracking up when we heard this news. The car, by the way, is perfect.
We are the luckiest.
There's no damage on it, Zuckerman. It's still in the impound lot, but I'm hearing that there's no damaged panels, no damage to the interior. The keys were in the ignition. You know, we have to be the luckiest guys in the world. I mean,
clearly, he felt an affinity for the car. He is. Or I have this picture in my head because he was probably, late 30s, early 40s. That when he was a kid, his dad had one of these, and this was a high point in his life before the roller coaster of life had taken him into the pit that he's in. And I kind of consider him a partner now.
I know. We were talking about that maybe we should make him a part owner of this car if we find him. They by the way, I don't know if you know this, but they didn't capture him. They don't have him. We can't offer him any choices, but if you see him, I don't know about you. I'm not necessarily mad at the guy. I don't need to catch him. Do you? I mean, do you care if they catch the guy?
I just had this conversation with somebody, and I was saying I don't have. If he had fucked the car up, I would have had animosity. But given that he cared for it, it's clear in my mind he cared for this car that I don't care anymore. I have no animosity towards him.
I don't know what the car smells like. I've been talking to my contacts in the Beverly Hills Police Department, but they're just saying, hey, the car's fine. But that's not you and me. You know what I mean? That's not you.
I understand, but I'm assuming he's one of two people now that I know of that chuck off in a car while driving.
Oh, I knew you were going to go there. Anyway, let's thank our friends at the Beverly Hills Police Department.
Absolutely.
LAPD did an amazing job. You guys rock. And everybody from Magnus and Jalopnik, you guys, it was great. It was just great to feel the love of the Porsche community and the love for this car. And, we would do the same for you guys. It's just, it is a bad feeling when you lose something like that. And it's nice to have it back, and it's a funny story to recap here. And, I was accused of doing this for publicity by somebody. And
Were you really?
Isn't that funny? I think they were joking. But, I mean, if you want to talk about what gets traction on Instagram, a stolen car gets traction. Jeez.
Yeah.
It's a little nuts. I had 20,000 visits on Saturday alone to my IG, which is pretty wild. In any case, we'll see. And when we get it back, it looks like it just needs a detail, right? And you have to pick it up, Zuckerman. Your name is on the registration on that guy.
I have no problem. And I'm just hoping that somehow we get the porn. I'd like the porn and the porn blanket.
Yeah, what happens to the stuff that's left in it?
Well, it's going to go in the evidence locker. But, at some point or another, maybe we can claim it as unfound property or something like that relates to our car, and we can reunite. We can put this stuff in the front boot along with all of the other ephemera that goes with the car.
There's a white fur carpety jacket of some kind. There's a little duffel full of pornography, and and then there was a meth pipe.
I'll tell you what was not in there that should have been in there. I think before he ran off, he put on my brand new James Purse long sleeve T-shirt and took off in that.
I think you're right. I don't think that's in there. But
of course not.
A small price to pay. 2 James Purse T-shirts.
Yes, if you see a meth smoking transient in a new James Purse T-shirt, that's your guy. Guy.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's your story. And we popped it at the top of this episode so you would not be left in a lurch. I hope you have all the details there. As new details emerge, you'll hear them right here. But I think that's the big part of the story. And when we come back from our break, Matt Farah and Robert Bollinger. We had a nice chat. You guys should check it out. Bollinger's a pretty cool outfit with a pretty cool electric truck. We'll be right back with more Spike's Car Radio. Audible is the leading provider of spoken word entertainment and audiobooks ranging from bestsellers to celebrity memoirs, news, business, and self-development. Every month, members get 1 credit to pick any title, plus 2 Audible originals from a monthly selection, and access to daily news digests, the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, as well as guided meditation programs. I use those. I have to calm myself down constantly. To kick off 2020, we're focusing on New Year, New You. We have plenty of content that can help you pursue your goals, whether it's getting fit, need to do that too, finishing more books, or becoming a better parent, leader, or person. How can I do any of that better? Well, guess what? I can. Here are all the details about Audible. You can download titles, listen offline, anytime, anywhere. The app is free and can be installed on all smartphones and tablets. You can listen across devices without losing your spot. So important. If you can't decide what to listen to, don't worry. You can keep your credits for up to a year and use them to binge on a whole series if you like. In addition to audiobooks, Audible also has podcasts, guided wellness programs, theatrical performances, A-list comedy, exclusive Audible originals you won't find anywhere else. They truly have something for everyone, and you're going to find something you love. So be sure to visit audible.com. Oh, there's a code for this, too. /Spike. Or, I'm going to try this when we're done. Text Spike to 500-500. That's right, just text Spike to 500-500 so they know our show sent you. That's audible.com/Spike. I suggest you do the text one and see what happens. I'm going to do that right now. Text Spike to 500-500. Oh, I did it. Look at that.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Spike's Car Radio. I'm here. It's a beautiful Friday. It's Wednesday for you. And our old friend Zuckerman is I think he's at a funeral today. And Matt Farah from the Smoking Tire podcast, our old friend, one of the originals.
Hello. Hola.
Is here with us. Someone said that whenever you're here, but with Zuckerman, we should call the show Earth, Wind, and Farah.
I like that. That's a good one. I love doing shows with you and Zuckerman. It's hilarious.
When Jerry's here, it's Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Well, that's a band that already exists.
That was Jerry's idea, and he's usually got very good ideas. But today it's just, I guess, Earth and Farah.
Who is? I'm guessing that Jerry is the fire. So who is Earth and who is Wind? You have to be Earth and Zuckerman is Wind for sure.
Of course, yeah. And I'm not.
But I'm just Farah. It's not like I'm like some adjective, some other, force of nature.
It's a play on words. Fire, Farah.
I know.
But it's nice to see you, my friend.
What's happening?
How are you?
I got a car story for you. I'm great.
Okay,
I'm lovely.
Good. You're fired up. Look, you're already going. Go,
you know why? I set my coffee maker to bold. You don't really, when you got a Cuisinart little coffee maker, you're like, what is that little bold button gonna do? And actually, it's like going Sport Plus on your PDK.
Really?
It keeps it at max revs.
So wait. So is the bold? Do you have like one of those cappuccino machine?
No.
Makers?
It's literally like a sub $100 Cuisinart drip coffee maker.
Oh, it's drippy.
Yeah, it's like the new version of the '80s one. Wow. I use an AeroPress for myself.
Right.
But if it's more than just me, I make a pot in the morning, like for me and Hannah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
so you went bold.
Yeah. I think all it does is drip the water slower, but it makes me hyper as shit. But get this, the other night.
All right,
so
stories.
I'm driving. My current daily is my mom's F-Type. Mm-hmm. You know this is the Jag, the green Jag.
Yeah. I saw it on Instagram.
Right. So
I was kind of jealous again, like that a mom just goes, "Hey, here's a Jaguar, son. What a great mom."
Well,
she bought it and she never drove it.
Not really. My dad and I bought it for her as a
nice.
birthday present.
That's nice.
It's a pretty rad birthday present.
Yeah.
When I went to Pebble with my dad and you were there, we hung out. We wanted to buy my mom we were so inspired, like we want to buy a car, but we weren't just gonna go to Gooding and throw $300 on something.
Right.
So we were like, the F-Type coupe was new, and my mom, her birthday was coming up. We're like, let's get mom one of those F-Types.
Moms love Jaguars.
So my mom loved it, and Stuart Shore at Jag literally made the exact spec appear at her house.
Stuart Shore?
Oh, he's the Jaguar North American PR guy.
Oh, okay, good. You know why they like it? Because it's kind of like the Chanel logo, the Jaguar logo.
Yeah. Or a Tiffany blue box.
Yes.
So my mom gets the car, and she's happy. She likes it. Well, as it turns,
was the car? Wait, tell us how the car was presented to her. Like, did you
My
do
dad-
did you do the TV commercial giant ribbon?
We didn't do the ribbon. I drove it up around from the side of the house and was ta-da. And my mom did. My dad did the eyes, the cover the eyes thing with her. Yeah.
That's rough. You know, this is a lot. It's hard.
The presentation was strong,
but it's also hard to pick color options. Everything else.
No. It's not hard. V6S Coupe Sport Pack British Racing Green over Camel upgraded stereo. How would you get it any other way? That's the only spec.
My wife would love that.
Perfect. That's the perfect spec.
Yeah.
And so
you're not wrong.
No. And so my mom says she loves it. Fast forward 4 years.
Okay.
She has driven it 2,700 miles.
That's it.
That's it. And it's not that she doesn't like it. She says she loves it. But she's an older lady, and she's had knee surgery, and she's had hip surgery, and so she likes
the getting out that always
exactly.
Gets
she likes her Audi Q5. It's at the right height for her butt, right? She slides in, she slides out. You open. She hits the power hatch, and she's got this whole divider system in the trunk, like a big filing cabinet full. It's got her stuff, so she doesn't drive very much.
Why does she need divider systems?
She's really organized. She's got her little shopping bags, and then she's got her other stuff like her umbrellas and her shit.
I do that.
Yeah, but her whole trunk has these dividers in it.
Me too.
Yeah, for the stuff.
Okay.
She carries a bunch of stuff
Am I
around
an old
with her.
lady?
No, you're just practical.
Okay.
So anyway,
I don't like my grocery bags tipping over.
Right. Well, no, same thing with her, but she carries other shit too.
Yes.
Whatever. As the older generation does, they're downsizing in homes.
Yes.
And their new home has a 2-car garage instead of the 4-car garage their old home had.
Right, I see.
So it's winter. She says, Matt, I'm not going to make myself go outside in the snow to get into my Audi while this Jaguar can just take up space in the garage. You're building this West Side Collector car storage place. Hit us up, by the way. And just take it. Take the Jag. And
Are you going to charge me for that storage?
Yes, retail, plus tax.
I would say get the car and pay me.
And I go, Mom, I go, maybe you should just sell it, and, you get a Range Rover or something that you'll, use, She says, nope. She insists she wants to keep it in the family, and I should have it.
Wow, that's nice.
Eventually, it might go back there. I don't know. But so either way, I've been dailying it. And me and my wife have been dailying it.
It's a great car.
It has 5,000 miles on it now.
Yeah, it does. Wow, that's great.
So, which leads to my story. I'm driving it to Korean barbecue the other night in Koreatown. There's nothing abnormal about this. I'm just driving it to dinner. Okay?
There's something funny about you driving to Koreatown to get Korean barbecue.
Well, that's where you would go for such a thing, isn't it?
Not really. There's a place in Brentwood that has it.
Yeah, but it's not Koreatown, though.
Oh, no,
you
I'm
need
not
to
gonna
be.
go in there and
if
tell them
you're
that.
not the only white person in the restaurant,
yes,
it's not worth it.
Wouldn't you drive a Kia or something like that to Koreatown?
I didn't have any other low-key options. So I'm driving to Koreatown. I'm sitting in the left turn lane waiting to make a left onto Crenshaw because I'm driving through the hood to avoid traffic, as you do to get to Koreatown.
Yes.
A person in front of me, a woman, as it turns out, in a old, fairly beat Infiniti G35 is in front of me in line. I'm just sitting there. This woman puts her car into reverse and hits the accelerator.
Just backs into your car
and reverses into my mom's Jaguar.
Oh my God!
On the throttle.
Really?
From about a 8 foot. Yeah, 8 foot on throttle, run up, reverse. It was clear that this woman's move was she didn't want me turning left. She wanted to move into the center lane to go straight.
Yeah.
So she was going to back up and then pull forward.
Got it.
I was, I guess, close enough to her car where my headlights were below her main field of view. She wasn't really paying attention.
Yes.
The car was pre-backup camera.
Yeah.
And this bitch just reversed into me on the throttle.
Bitch.
She is. She qualifies. Not all women are this bitch, but that bitch was this bitch.
She didn't know that you're not supposed to back up.
You're not supposed to do that.
And you're not supposed to do that.
And I had about a full, well, it felt like a full second because time slows down when a person is reversing into you.
So what happened to the car?
Ultimately, the damage is very, very minimal.
Yeah.
It ultimately resulted in, you know the chrome trim that goes around the mouth So the chrome trim is damaged. The black bar in the middle of the grill that you mount the license plate on has a crack in it, and there's a scuff on the nose, the top part of the nose. It's actually very, very minor.
Yeah.
And after I leave here, I'm going over to my place, to my guy, and I'm sure it'll get taken care of handily. I got the insurance information, but like, it was the first time someone's ever reversed
right into you, and it wasn't Jim Rockford.
And it's not. And she didn't catch herself before the bumper hit my car, and she hit me on the pedal.
Is there any chance you're going to turn the car into a safari car now?
because it got scraped. Total it.
Safari Jaguar. Here you go, Mom. Have it back.
Well, we've seen I've seen the peak Safari, I think. Have you seen the Baja 911 yet?
Before you get off that, and I would like to talk about that, I wasn't going to talk about how insane L.A. roads are until you came in and you just did it, because I've had something happen to me 3 times in the last 24 hours that I've never seen before here in L.A.
That?
And it wasn't women. This appeared to be kind of shell-shocked, PTSD, like 90-year-old male veterans. Who 3 different old men have decided to stop in the middle of the road. The first was yesterday afternoon in Sunset in Brentwood.
Like one of those things where they try and make this awkward left, but panic?
Stop. And I slammed the brakes on because I assume a cat just ran out in front of them. And then they go again.
Oh, God.
And then it happened that evening yesterday, and then it just happened on the way in here coming in on Sunset.
Oh, God.
Another shell-shocked veteran guy with white hair. He stops on Sunset as I'm entering Beverly Hills. I assume he's going to make a left or a U-turn. Nothing. He counted to 10 and then went straight again.
I think what we need to do, we need to go to the newspapers and see what drugs they've just raised the price of and what can't be afforded right now.
I try to live a better day every day, Matt Farah. I try to be a better person out in the road.
I'm sure you do,
I do.
Spike.
I do.
I don't believe you at all.
And I start to doubt myself because I get upset. And I didn't even blast the horn at these guys. I'm in a pretty good mood these days.
It's like gaslighting is happening on the highway. You think you're going crazy. It's like...
Well, here's the good news. I didn't crash into any of them because I didn't have my nose in the phone, but I could have easily. I'm doing 50, you know. Those aren't like slow roads. But I drove up to Mammoth last week with the kids.
Up the 395? Was it fantastic, the drive?
It was beautiful. The kids were in the back with their, we had the little Wi-Fi spot, and it was just me and Mark Maron the whole way.
But that L.A. to Mammoth drive up the 395, which goes up the eastern side of the Sierras, is one of the best, most relaxing, getting ready to be on vacation drives you can take. It's
Here's
fantastic.
why I bring it up.
Okay. Here's where it went wrong.
No, it didn't.
Okay.
It didn't. It went right.
Oh, okay.
The moment I was about an hour outside of L.A., I had the same courtesy I saw on the highway in the Autobahn in Germany.
Oh,
in that when you came up on someone in the left lane, they would pull over.
Mm-hmm. Lane discipline happens.
And people were just... different.
You know what it is?
And then I realized L.A. is fucked. It appears that the rest of the roads outside of California are kind of okay. And then the moment I got back to L.A., about an hour out on the 405, the craziness starts again.
Apparently the truckers call L.A. Idiot Island, which I think is a hilarious name for our city.
It's not. Look, there are lots of bright, industrious people here. But there are a lot of really shitty drivers here.
No, you know what?
These are bad. They're not idiots. It's Idiot Driver Island.
It's. I think I've said this on like 4 different podcasts recently. I think one of the problems with L.A. and is that people have begun to resign themselves to the traffic and say, well, traffic is just something that happens. There's nothing I can do about it. I might as well just be on my phone anyway. As opposed to acknowledging that you are an active participant in traffic. Yeah. And when that car in front of you moves and it takes you 4 additional seconds to move because you were on your phone, you just made traffic 4 seconds worse for the 300 cars behind you. Mm-hmm. Like, that time is cumulative. And so, it's unlike, I think it's, everyone recycle and drive a green car and whatever. I believe that some of those environmental problems are really kind of big corporate sort of issues. But traffic, you are an active participant in traffic.
And it's made worse by the devices.
Yeah.
I like CarPlay because it keeps my phone in the little holder in the side. I don't ever touch it.
The newest CarPlay is dope.
It's great, and I can talk.
You know what I like? I sold my scooter. You know my scooter that I love?
Yeah.
I sold it after 4 years for exactly what I paid for it, which is fantastic.
The scooter?
The scooter, the Yamaha scooter.
Wow,
and
it held its value.
100%. And I bought a new scooter, and I'm going to get it right after this show.
Really?
It's a Vespa 300.
Wow.
And it's in, like, Viper green.
That's beautiful. I wanted one of those.
Wait.
But I showed it to my boys, and they started making fun of me, and I tried to tell them why they were cool, and they just won't have it.
I'm so excited for this thing. I think I'm going to, like, ride it to Pebble Beach this year. Like,
wow.
I'm so ready. It goes 90.
It does.
Yeah, it's a Vespa that goes 90. I'm getting it. I'm picking it up in Cerritos, like 35 miles east of here, and I'm going to ride it home.
I was just looking at new Lambrettas and thinking that would be a cool scooter
This
to
thing
get.
is a 2018, has 900 miles on it, and I paid 60% of the retail price.
Wow. How'd you do that?
Craigslist.
Huh?
Yeah, there was barely any negotiating. It was already such a discount. I didn't even give a shit.
Yeah.
And I said I'll give you $200 less than was asked. Fine, done. It was
Let's
easy.
talk about those Porsche Safari cars because I haven't even. You know how you just see things on Instagram, you don't really go. Wait, I keep seeing that.
Yeah.
What is that? What is it? I'm kind of in that stage. Like I don't even know what that is. That you're.
Oh, the Baja 911.
I know what I've seen. I just don't know what it is.
Have you have? Okay, so this guy T.J. Russell is his name.
Okay.
He
Soul
was a
Star?
fabricator with Singer. I don't know exactly if he worked at Singer or if they outsourced to him, but for fabrication work. But that's his background.
Got it.
He wanted to take the Safari thing to its logical conclusion, which is this thing called the Baja 911, and you can Google it and you'll find it. And it's basically
Looks like a trophy truck.
a trophy truck
Had
911.
sex with a 911.
Correct. And what I met TJ a couple weeks ago, and he said I can drive it. And what is so interesting about it? Two things are very interesting about it. The most interesting thing about it is that the goal of it's $750,000. It is a luxury street legal race car. Okay, so we're gonna break that down. It's luxury. I sat in it. The seats are very comfortable. The leather work is excellent. It's not quite Singer, but it's very, very high quality. Right? Okay, so luxury. Street legal. It's based on a street legal race car. It uses a Roth Sport built 3.8. As far as I know, it'll pass smog in California. But either way, it is most certainly street legal. And
What is its real name?
It's on Instagram. It's the Baja 911, but with underscores. The _Baja _911.
Okay, got it.
And so it's street legal race car. Now, when I say race car, I can't verify this because I'm not a technical expert, but TJ says that you can drive this vehicle. That's it. He says you can drive this vehicle from your street legal use in LA straight to the start of the Baja 1000, tech it, pass tech and race Baja in it. This vehicle will pass tech at the Baja 1000.
Explain what that means to those
What that
who don't
means
know.
is it has a fully integrated roll cage. It has a complete Baja 1000 like fire suppression system. Like it has a fuel cell as opposed to a regular fuel tank. The roll cage is integrated into the ceiling and the interior. It's a beautiful execution.
Yeah, it does. It have a lot of Singer type details in the interior.
Yeah,
It's
it
very
does.
Singer-esque.
It does.
Not what you would expect.
It's not all like a Singer interior legit uses like 50 G's worth of leather alone.
2,800 pounds.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he made the entire body himself. One guy built this.
And it starts as a 964. So it's
Here's the other interesting part. It starts as a 964 cab.
Uh-huh.
And the reason for that is, A, the cabs are cheaper and less desirable. B, with the roll cage that you put in, it doesn't matter anyway. It literally, the stiffness of the car is from the stiffness of the cage. The stiffness of the chassis almost doesn't even matter at that point because you've got so much cage in it. And the fact that it's a cab, it's easier for them to fab the roll cage and bring it in from the top as opposed to, whatever other silliness you have to do to build a roll cage inside of a coupe.
Wow.
But it's such an interesting thing. I mean, it's like, obviously my car is like a little bullshit toy compared to this.
You have been getting a lot of attention with that car.
Porsche's giving me some love.
I know. It came out of nowhere. You were on the Porsche website, on their newsletter or whatever their feed is.
It wasn't totally nowhere. They emailed me and asked if I would be willing to be interviewed for this newsroom thing.
Okay.
And I thought it was a much smaller deal than it turned out to be.
No, it's a big deal.
It turned
there are
out
a lot
it was
of Porsche fans.
Oh yeah, it turned out it was kind of a big deal, and so they were very nice to me, and they did a very great, complimentary, and accurate story on my Safari car, and then I guess they put it out, but I guess it did huge numbers.
Wow.
Because they've reposted it on their Instagram, which has 20 million followers. Several times. So I picked up like a few thousand Instagram followers of my own because of it, and the Larry Chen photos are just amazing, and I'm sure Lee is over there selling cars. He must be.
And there you go.
I just got my car back from Marco at TLG for its annual service, kind of once over.
I saw that it was over there.
Yeah, it's great, dude. The car's running so good. I'm so happy. He didn't really have to do much. We adjusted the idle. It had a bit of a rough cold start idle, so he cleaned out this little air valve that was a little clogged, and he just adjusted the idle, and it's excellent. It's perfect.
Are you now a Porsche guy? Would you consider yourself a Porsche?
I'm
guy?
an everything guy.
Are you going to get another Porsche?
Eventually, yeah. My next car will probably be another Porsche. I'll probably get a modern one.
About?
I want one I can truly daily. So it'll either be, some kind of maybe a 997 GT car, because those I don't have the kind of money that you and Z have. So it's probably a 997.
Really, you don't?
No, and
you seem to.
I don't.
You're building buildings.
Well, I need that money back. And
you're doing okay, sir.
No, I'm fine, but I can't go buy a new GT3 or something, even as much as I would like.
Well, no, we don't do that. We carve them up and sell them.
I know, right?
We buy pieces. You should jump in on one of ours.
Maybe I'll jump in on one, because I would only put, put
ridiculous.
2,000 or 3,000 miles on anything. So I could,
great.
For the kind of miles you guys do, I could probably timeshare one. It'd be great.
I was talking to Zuckerman about his Speedster, and I missed the detail that his Speedster has the new GT3 engine in it.
It's got the new GT3
the 992
engine.
Speedster engine is in that, and that engine is outrageous, dude. It's so good.
But anyway, I'm definitely a Porsche guy. I love my Porsche.
All right,
but
good.
I'm a Lambo guy too. I've had no Lambo issues either. Lambo's excellent.
Well, let's take a break.
Okay.
We have a very special guest here today. You guys may know about the Tesla Cybertruck. Well, guess what? Guess who was there before them? Bollinger Motors has been putting together a really cool truck. If you think about maybe starting with a Jeep Gladiator and then throwing out everything you know about Jeeps, and then you make it into an electric truck, black and beautiful. We've been hearing about this truck for a while. Guess who's here? Robert Bollinger is going to come in and tell us where they're at with the development of their truck and how you can get one. We'll be right back. Let's talk about Butcher Box. You know what? Steak night is a big night for me. You know what I do when I cook steaks? I have a steak recipe that I got from some guys in Texas by way of Arizona at Barrett-Jackson. And I've been using that steak recipe since then, for 20 years. It's one of the best, but you need good steak, and Butcher Box is the place to get it. You know what I like to make with those steaks? I like to make my mom's favorite scalloped potatoes you cook on the grill with it, and then some simple corn in the cob. That's what I like to do. But the meat. I don't want to have to hunt for my meat. And now there's Butcher Box. You know what Butcher Box does? They ship a curated selection of high-quality meat right to your home. This is one of those sponsors that I've signed up for. I get this box of meat every week. In fact, I just took my pork chops out 5 minutes ago before reading this ad and put it in my fridge for tomorrow night. Barbecued pork chops. Their meat is so good. It's all free of antibiotics. It's got no added hormones. Each box has 9 to 11 pounds of meat, enough for 24 individual meals, packed fresh, shipped frozen and vacuum sealed, so it stays that way. I open mine up, I throw what I'm not going to have that week in the freezer, and thaw the rest of it and start cooking. And you can customize it, of course. You can do any way you want, or you can just get one of theirs. I just get their kind of grab bag. They send me whatever, because I eat pretty much everything. 100% grass-fed, finished beef, free-range organic chicken, heritage pork, wild-caught Alaskan salmon, and bacon that's free of nitrates and added sugar, right? What I just read you is your wife's grocery list, the stuff she makes you buy, right? Grass-fed, no nitrates, no added sugar. It just comes automatically. You don't have to go get it anymore. With ButcherBox, you get the highest quality meat for around $6 a meal, and they have free shipping nationwide. So, here's what you do. You want to try this out, I'm going to give you a special code using my name that's going to get you 2 filet mignons, a pack of bacon, plus $20 off your first box when you sign up now. How about that? ButcherBox.com/Spike. Or you enter the promo code when you check out and use Spike. That's right, you will get 2 free filet mignons. You will think about me when you eat them. A pack of bacon plus $20 off your first box. Just go to butcherbox.com/Spike or use promo code Spike at checkout. You got to try this out, guys. This is the one.
You're listening to Spike's Car Radio.
Here we are. Robert, nice to meet you, man.
Hey, nice to meet you. Thanks for having me in.
I'm so excited to have you here because I think your truck is one of the bigger mysteries in the car world, right?
Right.
But in a good way, but in a really good way. Christian Bale was just on a few weeks ago, and I asked him after the broadcast, or maybe it was in the broadcast, said, hey, what are you interested in? He goes, I want that Bollinger truck. Do you know that guy? I go, I don't. I have a production company. My production partner, John, this is the only thing he talks about. He goes, cool. Hey, do you know anything about that Bollinger truck?
Yeah, of course John wants one. He's got a military Hummer, and he drives only the biggest, dumbest trucks in Los Angeles.
He's got good taste in trucks.
There you go.
But both of these guys, myself included, by the way, we all look at this thing and we go, God, this thing looks really cool.
It looks like an old Defender.
It does.
Kinda.
You guys want to check this out while we're talking about it?
The basic shape of it is old Defender.
Yeah, it's big and square.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Go to Bollinger.
It's a 2-box design.
Go to Bollinger.
Next to each other, they don't look all that much alike.
Oh, my Lord. Gentlemen.
But if you were describing one to a police sketch artist, you'd basically start with Defender.
Right. Or International.
Or Scout. Yeah.
Just check out BollingerMotors.com if you can right now while we're chatting, and you can see what we're talking about. So, Robert.
Yeah.
Just tell us about this company. Where did the idea come from? Where do you come from? How does it all begin?
There's kind of 2 answers to that. Kind of one is the original idea, which was I always wanted to have my own car company as a kid and draw cars and all that kind of stuff. And I drew logos of my name, and it was all for some reason. But
you're Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh?
Pennsylvania, I was Pittsburgh. And so I always wanted to do that kind of thing. My entire career was not automotive, it turned out. And then I was able to come back to it.
What was it?
I studied industrial design to become a car guy, and interviewed and didn't get any jobs in the automotive industry, and so I was all right. So I went to New York, got a job in design, marketing, advertising. That was my whole career. The idea was to go back to grad school and come to Art Center or something like that. It didn't happen, and then ended up running a company with a friend. We sold that. That gave me the money, and then I came back to it. So it was a perfect...
So you have the money. Yeah. You come back to it, right? What do? You get in a room, or did you already have this idea? Like, tell me about the moment, the spark, or did you just roll up your sleeves and go, I want to design a car and start drawing things?
Yeah, I was living upstate at that point. I had been in New York for like 25 years, and I moved up to the Catskills, so I was up there. And we had a farm and just living the life kind of thing, and the company sold. So I was like, what do I do now? I said, okay, give it a year. Don't rush into anything. Think about what you want to do. So it kind of came down to I either make my own bourbon or I start this car company thing.
Okay.
So,
who says you can't do both? I mean, honestly, one does not preclude the other.
Right.
So you said, all right, I'm going to make a car company. But again, I used to do this too, but my drawings were like kindergarten. They still are.
Yeah.
Like, here's my car.
Well, mine still are because you see how I came out with the truck.
Yeah, the truck.
It's like
right,
block and block.
But did you say
you actually put that vehicle into production?
Right.
Did you
I was like, it's done.
I like this kind of truck, but I want to make it electric. What's the moment where you go?
It was basically, okay, I want to start this. How do I start this? I have no idea. But I know I wanted to be electric. I wanted to do something. I wasn't quite sure the form.
But you didn't have the dream. It wasn't you had a dream car that you wanted to build. It was, I want to be a car company founder, CEO.
Right. Well, when I was a kid, I drew Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and I actually went to Italy and interviewed there. I learned Italian in college, and that was my dream. And they're like, you don't know anything about what you're doing. They said in Italian.
You don't know anything.
That's hilarious.
Like Ford versus Ferrari.
So,
Get out.
Yeah, right.
You're fat, and your cars are fat. And
So I came back, and then when I ended up in New York, and you can't save money in New York at all. So
You're just
I never went back to it.
You're just, fuck it, I got to do this myself, right?
Yeah.
And so,
well, I knew I couldn't do it at all, other than I had some money and the dream, right? So I put an ad on LinkedIn for engineers.
Okay.
And that's how it started.
But did you sketch this Bollinger truck out?
That was later. That was later.
You just put an ad out that said, "Hey, I want to start a truck company."
Yeah, I knew enough about electric at the time and what Tesla was already doing. Obviously, that it was just like, all right, it's got to be small, light thing for the range and all this kind of stuff. And so after Carl came on, our chief engineer was the first employee, and so we started looking into the whole thing. And then after like about 6 months or so, I was like, wait, I don't want a small, light little thing. I have no need for that. And it was on the farm. So it was actually October 5th, 2015. That was like the aha moment where it's just like, why don't I just build exactly what I want for what I need it to do right now on the farm?
On the farm.
So it became the truck.
And have it be eco-friendly and electric.
Yeah, and 50-50 weight distribution, all-wheel drive all the time, all that kind of stuff. So if you ever are trying to plow 2 feet of snow in any truck that's available now, it doesn't go very well. So it was basically, how do you make a truck that will actually do what you need it to do?
How does it, I have so many questions. When a real car company starts a new model, right, it's billions of dollars of development, right? You're doing this almost like you are making that bourbon in your garage. How do you approach that? Do you make the design and then we're going to build one and then we're going to go
keep it under the 300 and then you get all your nice little exemptions from that? Is that the move?
I mean, yeah. How does it work? Or do you go get funding and then build it?
Yeah. No, I've just been happily spending all my money on this. So we are doing investments now, but up till now it's been me. So luckily enough, I think too, because we were like up in the Catskills, away from everything, and it was just a small group of us, and we're like, let's just make the coolest. Let's just make what we want it to be. Let's not worry about the cost of it. Let's not worry about anything.
Or was that?
That was one. That was the 2-door.
That's the 2-door.
Yeah,
we're just going to make one of these.
Yeah, we make one and test it, and it was from the ground up. So we're like, let's not take an existing vehicle and electrify it, because this is 2015. This is like very little is happening in the electric world other than Tesla, right? So we had to put in motors that were made for buses and stuff like this. There was not that many components available for what we needed. And then you also had like the little putt-putt cars coming up and those motors and not
like
those
little
components.
gems and stuff like that. Oh,
so the stuff for that was way too small for us. So we had to go the bus side. Now there's a lot more stuff out there because the whole world is changing. But at the time it was like, what are we, how do we put this thing together? So that one truck, that 2-doors, it was tested. It's the same thing that was at the LA Auto Show. It's now at the Peterson for an exhibit for a year, which is a huge honor. Yeah. And then we just built the 2 trucks that are on our website now, the 4-doors, the B1 and the B2.
Right, these guys right here.
Yeah.
Which are badass looking.
Right.
Yeah. The 4-doors is Bronco-esque. I like it. It's cool. Kind of, it's like a little. It's like if you old schooled a Ford Flex, if you reverse age
Matt, look at
Ford
this.
Flex.
You can carry a telephone pole in this thing.
I'm sorry that I can't see your screen. What am I looking at exactly?
You're looking at
a pass-through?
Yeah. A pass-through through the entire vehicle that you could put a telephone pole right into the...
Patent pending, by the way.
Yeah.
And a full vehicle pass-through? Is that...
Yeah, so on the B2 you can hold...
But why? Where does this idea come from?
Well...
It's so cool when you look at it because you can look from front to back to the entire vehicle. And for a construction worker, right... Or maybe
for
farm work.
and poles and trees.
Large 2x4s.
Yeah, the B2 holds 16-foot boards inside with the tailgates
16
closed. 16 foot. And the B1 holds 13 foot. So that's longer than any pickup truck because most pickup trucks now are 6-foot beds and hanging out the end.
Right.
But this is intended to be a street-legal vehicle. It's not a farm truck.
Correct. It's a Class 3 truck. Basically, it was like, okay, what do I want in it? And so I wanted to carry 4x8 sheets of plywood, which they both do. carry long lumber through it. The motors were at that point, we already knew we were going to be down below. And so it was like there's no longer a firewall because there's not an engine there. So I was like, let's put a hole through it. So it was like, yeah, why not? It's there.
And you can patent the hole? You can
Yeah, the whole is patented.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a design, like a design.
It's a utility patent too.
Utility patent.
So that means anybody now in the future who wants to do that,
they
even the electric company carrying, they got to call you and you get paid. That's
right.
cool.
And we have a patent on the Class 3 aspect of it as well. We just put that out in November, but that's more complicated. But yeah, so it's a Class 3 electric truck. So we're the only one doing a Class 3. So that means it's a 10,001 GVWR. So even though the truck's going to come in somewhere between 5,000 and 6,000 pounds, it has to act as though it's 10,000 pounds more. So,
and that gets you out of some of the more expensive safety issues, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say get us out of, but it's.
Well, doesn't that mean you don't need airbags?
Correct. It doesn't have airbags. It doesn't need to be crash tested.
Right.
So we're doing all the simulation ourselves and with vendors, obviously, but simulation for frontal, side, and rear.
So why doesn't it have to be crash tested?
Class 3.
Class 3.
Class 3.
This may end up, by the way, being Elon's cheaty loophole for the Cybertruck.
I see.
Because the Cybertruck, if they tried to build that like that and compare it to an actual F-150, as I'm sure Robert could tell you, that thing ain't passing nothing.
Right.
Not a chance.
Yeah, it doesn't even have mirrors on it.
Yeah, the only hope for something like that would be to go Class 3, which is fine, but it sort of undercuts your environmental friendliness mission, doesn't it?
What else is Class 3 currently on the road?
Ford F-350s.
Ford
350s.
350s.
Ford F-350.
Yeah. And they're based on the 150, and they make a lot of them.
Okay.
So I think the reason why...
Well, it's a different chassis.
So then how do you get that classification? You just ask for it, or is there...
Well, no, you just follow all the FMVSS rules for it, and it's basically there's a lot. There's rules for everything, but we're doing our own due diligence for safety beyond what the regulation calls for. And I believe the reason why the federal government has what they have for that classification as it is because when you're a Class 3 truck, you're the big hammer on the road.
Right.
Yeah.
Your mass always wins.
Yeah.
So it's. And they probably also believed, I'm totally guessing at this, that Class 3 was always going to be a smaller volume segment anyway, and we are going to be. We're very low volume. But
are you also planning on doing the ultra low volume vehicle manufacturer thing?
Yeah, there isn't that in the U.S. A lot of people think there is, but it's only in the U.K. as far as we know.
Really?
Yeah, you can get an exemption to it. Like I think Celine did it for their first round, but you have to petition and show.
What about like Ariel and the Atom and stuff like that?
I don't think those are road legal.
They definitely
or they're motorcycles.
No, they definitely are road legal cars.
Something.
So there's an exemption for if you build under 300 vehicles a year. People like Glickenhaus can do it to get their cars road legal. Ariel can do it. Not KTM. The BAC Mono is a car where you can do it. Now, California is a whole other thing, but federally, you can definitely do it if you build less than 300 a year.
I think the Bach Mono is considered a motorcycle, and you have to wear a helmet in certain states. But anyway, you have to petition and get that, and they don't always give it to you. I know that's what happened with Celine. I think they took that away.
When Elon launches the Cybertruck, I was talking, I think somebody who does PR for you, and he said it's great because the whole electric truck world just lined up. We now know where everybody is.
Right.
And I don't know that I had that reaction. I thought, well, now Bollinger makes more sense to me than before. And I don't know why.
Right.
Because I thought the Cybertruck is so insane.
Right.
that you guys looked legit by comparison.
Right.
But what was your reaction to the Cybertruck?
Well, I was just leaving the LA Auto Show there. I was there for the first week for the press days and stuff like that. So I was actually in the bar at the airport, and I was watching it on my phone. And I watched like everyone else, not knowing what was going on.
I tell you what, I haven't laughed as hard in my entire life as when he smashed those windows. Oh my God, that was a moment when he goes, guys, it's bulletproof. Smash! No, wait, that went badly. Hang on, let me do that again. Smash! I sat up and I was dying.
It didn't even look like he threw it that hard. So I think most people still think it was on purpose, but who knows? I have no idea.
No.
I'm not going to speculate.
I mean, I got to tell you, my kids don't care. They're building it on Roblox. It's in their garage in their video games. They think it's the greatest thing they've ever seen.
He definitely knows how to get attention.
It's not real. That's when it will matter. When everyone finds out it's a scam.
I want to know you're in this business.
I thought I stopped breathing because I had no idea what was going on. And but he usually only shows stuff that's pretty production ready.
Right.
Like, this is what it's going to look like.
Yep.
Do your reservation,
Sure.
your deposits now. So I took it as later when I got my breathing back, I was like, I took it as, it's a concept. He's getting a reaction. He's trying to completely undo what you expect from a pickup truck. And so I was like, great, that's a great idea. I don't know if he's going to keep it or change it or it's going to progress or what, or if it was just a publicity thing. I have no idea. But
you don't think he's going to make it, do you, Matt Farah?
I don't think he can. I don't think they...
Why?
I agree.
Sorry.
No, tell me. I really don't know.
Because there are vehicle safety standards in the U.S.
Class 3.
That would.
But you're saying making a lot of them. He couldn't mass produce this.
I don't think. No.
Right.
They
could maybe make 20 of them. And
there's a big difference between building a movie prop, which is what that thing is,
yes,
and actually mass producing vehicles, which I'm sure Robert can tell you about how difficult that is.
Right.
If you actually want to build something, and to present a concept vehicle, there's nothing strange about that. Manufacturers have been presenting concept vehicles for years. When a manufacturer presents a concept vehicle that is so clearly so far from production ready, and then says, reserve yours now directly with our company, that is not a virtuous behavior, let's just say.
Well, I believe...
But he drove it to Malibu for sushi.
And made an illegal left out of Nobu and ran... You know what he hit? Did you see what he hit?
The
cone. Do you know what it says on the cone? No left turn.
No.
He literally ran over a no left turn cone while making an illegal no left turn in a movie prop. And by the way, you see his Model 3 chase car had to make the illegal left turn right behind him.
Right.
And that's Soho Malibu. I come out of there all the time. And
you turn right, Spike.
I never turn. I mean, I wouldn't want to turn left. You die if you turn left. It's bad.
You can't turn left there. That lane only
it's like
stops
trying
for
to turn
pedestrians. It's not there's
and
no
you don't do that with a $2 million prototype. Either.
No, but it is the equivalent of trying to make a left turn on a highway. Two lanes of people doing 60 or 70.
It's the most Tesla driver thing ever to make a...
But I believe he created the look. I believe if he made a pickup truck that was hugely desirable, how do I say this? And he got 1 million reservations because the pickup trucks are so popular. You could make a vehicle if you're Tesla and get 1 million reservations and then not be able to do that. So I think he purposely made a thing that would hit only a certain number of people who would love it for what it is. So I think he purposely kept his numbers low.
Is he just getting financing? Is it a way of just getting a loan that he can just pay back later on?
Yes. By the way, if you use those reservations to get that loan and that loan is used for something else, that's a crime.
That's fraud?
Yes.
Oh, who's going to prosecute him?
Nobody. That's what we're saying. There's nobody looking.
And they've changed their way of taking deposits now. You can't get your money back.
You can't?
They went from $1,000 refundable to $100 and not refundable. Yeah,
isn't that interesting?
Wow.
Not saying anything. I'm just giving the facts. But anyway.
So what happens 3 years from now?
Who knows? People will have forgotten about their $100. That's why it's a fuck it, put it on black number. $100. $100 is an I don't care if I ever see it again number. It totally is.
So
Admit
he
it.
just took. And how many deposits did he get?
$250,000. It's $25 million.
That he just.
So that's a lot of vehicles.
So whatever it costs
obviously,
him, whatever it costs him to build that movie prop. Have that party.
Yeah.
$25 million in the bank.
Right.
If it costs him $1 million,
and you're saying he doesn't have to make the truck and he doesn't have to give the money back.
I'm saying that those are both incredibly likely scenarios.
But it's Elon. Look over here. I've got a flamethrower.
Don't worry. By the time they catch up with him, he'll be on a rocket to Mars.
That's what Mars is about. His escape.
1,000%. Can I ask you about your powertrain and stuff in the truck?
Sure.
Yeah. Let's talk about this truck because it's a real company. Go.
No, yeah, I mean,
right.
So
working,
you said full-time four-wheel drive.
Yeah, all-time all-wheel drive. So it has 2 motors, one on each axle. It has 2 gearboxes there, and then it has portal gear hub. So it has 6 gearboxes, 2 motors.
Oh, shit, it's portal axles?
Yeah, it's got portals.
I didn't realize that. Oh, neat. So how does an electric motor work with a portal axle?
Well, it's just like any other, once the half shaft comes out,
It's the same as it would come
Same
out of a differential or whatever.
Exactly.
Oh, neat. How cool.
And then we have inboard brakes because...
Inboard brakes.
And then the portals are 2 to 1.
How is that different, inboard brakes? What do you mean?
Well, one is you have the portal gear hub there, so they got to be somewhere else. But
wait, we have to...
I'm
do you
going
know
to
what
pretend to
do you know what portal axles are, Spike? Can you explain portal axles?
Well, just I think to the audience in general who's listening.
For anyone who doesn't know what, not Spike, who anyone...
So they've been on...
I don't know, but I don't think a lot of people really
know exactly what he means.
Portal axles are, and any of this stuff.
And they're hard to see, so a lot of people don't know we have them.
I like to translate cars for everyone, including myself. Yes, go.
Yeah, so portals it's a 2 to 1 gearbox that's inside the wheel itself.
Right.
So the half shaft comes out of the other gear, the transmission gearbox inside the middle, comes out, and then it hits the top of the portal, and then gears put it down to the wheel. So it gives you another 4 or 5 inches of ground clearance.
You know how, Spike...
And the gear ratio is set.
So it's about ground clearance.
Visual comparison, Spike. Picture a lifted, broed-out F-350 Ford, right? Big lift, right? You know how you see that drive shaft angling down to the differential in the back? Now picture the Mercedes 6x6 or a Hummer H1. You can look all the way underneath that vehicle, and you don't see any running gear.
Got it.
That's because those are portal axle vehicles. They raise that running gear up, and then it comes down just outside where the wheels are, so you can big clearance in the middle.
Clean.
That's what a portal axle
does.
does.
There you go. All right.
And
now, inboard
the
brakes.
G-Wagon has them on the $250,000.
The 6x, the 6x, and the G squared,
right?
The 6x that doesn't have the extra axle.
I love that.
You know how it's like extra tall?
Yes.
That's why, because it's got the portal axles.
I wonder if people are falling out of those vehicles and getting hurt
When they're hammered, for sure. A G squared is the ultimate drive drunk home from the bar and get an embarrassing Dewey on TMZ vehicle.
They're so stupid.
It also serves, because it's a 2 to 1 ratio, the inboard brakes only have to be half as big to handle what's going on. So they're braking the axle.
Not the wheel.
Not the wheel. And then the axle gets double, the amount of power gets doubled at the wheel with the portal.
And how quick is your vehicle here?
Simulated, our numbers, everything online is through, a lot more of it is, through the calculations.
Wait, I'm sorry. Are you telling me
it's going to be about 5 seconds?
Are you saying you've built 3 cars and you've never done acceleration tests on one of them?
Oh, no, we have.
Okay.
Yeah,
so what does it do in the actual test? Forget the simulator.
Well, we don't have the final battery in our new one.
Oh, okay.
In the actual ones that are on the road now.
That has to do with weight, and we don't know. Is there any hope in the future for really lightweight batteries for these cars and vehicles?
Everyone keeps talking about them. You hear about the next one's coming out, but
who's at the forefront of this battery tech? Who's making it? The Chinese?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah?
It's going to be Apple and Google and the people who make smartphones that want things to be smaller because they want their batteries to be 1/10 the size as well, right?
Right.
And 1/10 the cost. So everything's going to come from the small and then go back out, I believe. So, it's going to be 5-10 years before I think we have a brand new kind of battery. You hear about it all the time and you read about these things coming out, but they just discovered it in the lab or they just made it work in the lab. Mm-hmm. It still has to go through tons of everything. So we're still a ways off, I think.
All right.
Have you seen anything about these sort of crazy sort of alternative ways of creating and storing energy, like the algae thing or the seawater thing or any of that kind of stuff? Do you follow that? Does any of that seem promising for mass adoption or not really?
Yeah, not at this point. I think you have to have something that goes through vibration, of a vehicle and that kind of stuff. So the amount of automotive testing that has to happen once you have your chemistry down. So if the chemistry takes 5 years, then you got 5 years of for automotive. So.
Dude, this shit is such a slow process. There's all these charts that talk about this 100% EV adoption in LA in 10 years. That shit is bullshit.
You think so?
Fuck yeah, that shit's never happening. It just took me 7 months to have one wire run from a pole to my building. You think they're going to build enough EV chargers?
Yeah, that part of it's tough.
You think they're building enough chargers to sustain this? This is crazy.
Yeah. And then the second you get it in, they say, well, that's not the supercharger. You want the supercharger. We can get you some more electricity.
So, either you've got you can charge at home, which is great. You get a 220 at your house, and that covers most people most of the time. Mm-hmm. But being out and about, I think everyone focuses on range as being a thing. I really think charge speed and the availability of chargers like gas stations. Like, no one's ever like, I'm not buying that car because it's got a 14-gallon gas tank. I need a car with an 18-gallon gas tank. It's like, no,
I
because
just
there's
had
a
this
gas
discussion
station
yesterday.
there.
Yeah. You don't compare that when that little car gets 30 miles per gallon, but it only has a 7-gallon tank. You don't worry about the range on those. So why is it a thing?
Well,
I don't think there is range anxiety. I think it's a made-up thing because most people drive way less than what's available in
It's
electric cars.
unavailability of charging opportunity anxiety.
If
not
you have a
range.
home and you can pull up to it, that's a big if. If you're not in an apartment place or whatever, or if you it might be hard to charge. But if you have a home and you can pull up, I have a Chevy Bolt as my second car, and that we charge on level 1, and it's no brainer. It's easy.
I had gas range
I mean, you have electricity
anxiety.
coming to every single house. The infrastructure is there beyond anything. You do not have gas coming to your house.
People immediately, but people immediately make they always go the road trip. Driving up to Mammoth. But by the way, I saw a Tesla on the way up there. But I will tell you, I had gasoline range anxiety because I hadn't been up there for 15 years, and I'm like, gosh, I'm headed into nowhere where the woolly mammoths were roaming. And I'm like, do I have enough? Will there be a gas station? Because I haven't seen anything for 50 miles, right? So
There will be, but there are charging stations too.
But the reason is obvious because the charging station is you want the reassurance of knowing there's a charging station. That's why people don't worry about gas. We know there's going to be a gas station. We don't know how this is going to work.
And
but
it's not about the road trips. It's actually about the number of charging stations within the city.
It isn't about that, but that's what most
daily drive.
people think. This is the first thing that pops into their head. Even when you offer them a 2-seater car, they go, well, how am I going to do this special thing 10 months from now?
And once you own an EV, if you were forced to own an EV, you would figure it out and you go, oh, this is a no-brainer. I plug it in when I get home. And that's all you ever have to think about. That's most of the people who ever get
That's true.
EVs.
I had a Volt, and I loved it. It was the best. That 50 miles of electric, 40, 50 miles of electric, which I almost never used up in the day. Mm-hmm. And then if you ran out, the gas, I'd get 40 miles a gallon on gas indefinitely. It was delightful. I was so bummed when they stopped making that car because it was such a practical thing.
You can reserve one of these cars right now. You go to Bollinger Motors, right? I'm looking at your website. Impressive website, by the way. And monochromatic, very much like the vehicle.
Yeah, we've been black and white since the start.
Yeah, it's cool.
Is it is part of the, if you don't mind, Spike? It's a simple design. Like I said, reminds you of a classic Land Rover, a classic Bronco, or a Scout or something. I haven't seen. Can you get an interior picture? What do we have? Creature comforts of any kind?
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Let me just jump in right there.
Go ahead.
Do you have to have airbags in something like this?
No.
Because
Class 3.
Because it's Class 3. The regulation of Class 3 doesn't require it. You either have to do all of your safety through airbags or your safety through seatbelts. So we're doing it through seatbelts.
That's cool.
And so, it'll have air conditioning, heated seats, Bluetooth radio, that kind of thing. But we don't have a big screen. We don't have all those distractions, if you will.
Right.
So you get in, you drive it, you use your hands. We're never going to do autonomy, all that kind of stuff. It's a multi-purpose tool that you can do stuff with and then also go out and have fun and go to Moab or take it somewhere. And again, like a lot of people say, well, how do you go off-roading? There's not a charging station at the top of the mountain, but it's just like anything else you plan for the day. We're going to have 8 to 10 hours of off-roading.
I always thought electric off-roading would be really, really nice. I mean, it being quiet and being really in tune with nature. I always thought
all
it'd be
the
great.
torque instantly.
And even every time I've gone off-road, and I realize it's not everybody's experience anecdotal, but like I use way less gas than I think I'm going to use off-road. Like I can go off-road on a whole day, and it's like, obviously you want to start with a full tank for safety, but like I'll use a quarter of a tank going 50 miles off-road. You're going slow. You're at kind of idle speed a lot.
And energy is energy, so the same thing is going to be true of an EV. And so we have a whole day you can be out there doing your thing.
Yeah.
And if you're going really far, do you trailer it? Like you just plan out your day. If it's nearby, you drive. You know what your distance is going to be.
Hypothetically, would it be possible? I'm not talking about perpetual motion by any means, but if you were to bring a small Jenny with you, would it be possible to carry a couple of cans of diesel with a small Jenny and recharge over a period of whatever hours in the forest?
Definitely, because a lot of people...
Is that something that people would do?
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they go off-roading, go out and camp, and they bring a generator anyway. So you could just go out there for the whole weekend or the whole week with
Would you be able to charge it in 10 hours?
It depends on the size. Yeah, it depends on the size of your generator.
Right.
Yeah. You have to be a good-sized generator.
You can get one of those ones they use on movie sets that are pretty quiet that we refer to as a putt-putt, and those put 220 out for studio lights, and they would charge a truck for sure. Yeah.
What is this level 3 charging? Because you can charge it in an hour 15 with
That's
level
direct.
3.
That's the direct charging that you get on the highways. So direct, that's DC. So
I can't get that in my house?
No. Direct charging is, there's in your house you have AC, alternating current.
Gut.
Out on the highways, it's DC. And it goes straight to the battery. It doesn't go through the onboard charger.
So these would be these highway charging stations.
Right, because the battery is DC and everything else in it is AC. It's a horrible, unfortunate thing of electricity, but it exists. Physics. But, so out on the highway, it goes straight into the battery. That's why and it's much more powerful, so it's a lot faster.
Taycan is using that level 3 system, and they can charge real fast.
Yeah. Right.
Which is good.
How much?
How much what?
Those stats kept changing every
the
time.
Taycan can do 350 kilowatt charging.
But wasn't there some, 60% of the battery in 10 minutes equation?
It's 80% in... I think it's 80% in 12 minutes or 80%.
In 12?
It's fast. It was fast enough that I was able to watch it and count the percentages going up. It was fast.
So that's...
Where was the...
Best Buy in Burbank.
Has a 350...
They're the only...
Wow.
There's only 2 350s in L.A.
Wow.
As of a month ago, and that was one. They're building a massive bank of them at the Porsche Experience Center in Carson.
Oh, cool.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
So,
You probably have 20, 25 chargers down there for those things.
Did you see a line of people waiting for that charge? I mean, that's the only thing.
Here's the irony, though. One of the 2 stalls that had it was broken.
Oh, yeah.
There weren't a line of, because I don't think there's a lot of other vehicles on the road yet that can use that.
Right.
I was there
that's
driving
crazy,
on the Taycan press launch, and I was the first person to get to the charger, and so I used it and was on my way.
So
most of the they're around 100 or 150.
Yeah.
And that's what our truck will do. Ours.
But what happens? Okay,
100 to 150 is what, 80% in 25 minutes?
Yeah,
or something like that.
Let's flash forward to the future.
And it depends on the size of your pack. We have a 120 kilowatt hour pack, so no matter what, it's going to take a little bit longer because we're twice as big as most packs.
That's
out there.
big.
Answer me this question, because now I'm just flashing forward to 5 years from now when we all have superchargers and highways. In the summertime when it's really hot and everybody puts their air conditioner on and everything goes down.
Yeah.
Now we're adding this to it. Does it affect the overall electrical grid? It does?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is going to be
just like towing or all that kind of stuff. Every EV is in the same category. If you tow as much as weight as you are, your range is half. It's just straight math, right? So all EVs are equal in that way. So same with AC and heat and all that kind of stuff. That's why heated seats are good because they physically form.
But I mean, our electrical system here in California seems taxed.
Oh yeah,
when we all start using it.
Those are the big things that have to happen, and that's where all the states, you can go online and see how much of your electricity in your state is renewable and is it green from the start and all that, the bigger picture. So, they have to come up with – it's a big issue. They have to come up with 3-4 times as much. So this is something
states are dealing with right now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, this truck, Bollinger Motors, you guys can check it out, bollingermotors.com. You can reserve one right now. The price of the truck, $125?
$125.
For either one?
For either one, yeah.
For the Bollinger B1 or the Bollinger B2. I'm here on the site. I'm clicking the reservation button. Look at that. Wow.
Do it.
And you can just click on which one you want. Oh, it's so easy. And there you go. You make a deposit. It's a $1,000 refundable deposit. That was easy.
I mean, I assume there's not an issue with dealer franchise laws at your level of volume, is there?
Well, we are going to go through independent dealers, so we're not going to do it ourselves.
So who's going to sell the cars?
Yeah, so we have independent, we have one in New York lined up, L.A., all the big.
Can you say who they are yet?
No, I can't say anything. I still have to sign all the things, all their suppliers, all their stuff.
I'm curious, like Manhattan Motor Cars, it seems like an option.
That world, yes.
Yeah. I picture Brett David as having at least one of these at Prestige in Miami. Brett David, Prestige Imports in Miami?
I have no idea who that is.
Oh, he's like the Lamborghini king of Florida, but he sells all kinds of, he's got Pagani franchise, he sells all kind of crazy shit.
Yeah, so we've had a few of those independent dealers contact us because their customers already were wondering or asking about it. So.
I picture it at a Galpin. Yeah. Bo Bachman would be all up in this for sure. He likes weird stuff like this.
I like that you can put your deposit down on the Discover card, the Diners Club card, too, if you want. I can put it on my Diners Club International card.
The spread of oldest possible payment method for newest possible.
Or the JCB. What is the JCB?
That's the Japanese credit card.
Okay.
Oh, really?
All right. Hello, friends in Japan.
Can I buy one in Bitcoin?
Sure.
Do you guys have you ever seen anyone use a Diners Club? I'm going to get a Diners Club.
I can't believe that's on there. I didn't even know that.
I don't know. It's very funny that it's
I want to take my Diners Club to Vegas and have a nice time. That sounds like a good weekend.
That would be hilarious. What do you think the Diners Club concierge can hook you up with in Vegas? Vinny Favorito for two?
Every time we talk about something on this podcast, somebody reaches out and goes, "Hi, someone's going to call me. I'm from Diners. I heard you talking about us.
I'm Murray.
We'd like to get you our purple card. Do you have what? What's the purple? It's a very exclusive Diners Club card.
It's only for people where you can see purple through their clear skin.
I can't get anybody to take my American Express at a restaurant, let alone a Diners Club, but I'm getting one. I want it. I want to be exclusively Diners Club from this way on, and I'm going to use my card to get me one of these Bollinger Motors trucks.
Can we say how much the truck is yet?
Yeah,
it's $125,000.
Oh, $125K.
Yeah.
No chance that's going to change, that price? It may. But it's in that range.
It's definitely in that range. The whole thing about building a truck that you want and not worry about what it goes into it and the cost of it ends up being this. So
being expensive.
So the bill of materials is crazy high. I mean, the battery pack alone is $40,000-$50,000.
Well, we have two. Christian Bale.
Oh my gosh, can we? I gotta say hi. Yeah, that'd be great.
I will
because he did say it on the show, and I ran it over and over.
He's such a cool guy too. He currently drives a Tacoma. And he removed his finger with a motorcycle chain. I don't know if you heard that part.
I heard
and then put it back on himself and drove out the window like this to the hospital.
We need guys like that driving our truck, yes.
Yeah. He's way into it. John's way into it. I'm sure a lot of the listeners are way into it now, too. And it's cool to have you here, man.
Thanks.
Right at the very start of this enterprise of yours. Congratulations. It's not anybody can pull this off. And you look like you're at the start of something really great.
Cool. Thanks a lot.
It's really cool. And Matt Farah, thank you for filling in for my blowhard of a co-host, Mr. Zuckerman. He'll be back.
Backup blowhard is a good position for me.
Once he makes bail, he'll be back in the studio with us.
Right.
Anything you want to promote?
Of course. Westside Collector Car Storage is taking deposits now. If you are a collector or even just a person who has more cars than sense or space, hit me up, Matt at westsidecollectorcarstorage.com, or find us on Google. We are now taking deposits, and I promise we're going to be open really soon. I promise. Construction is a B, as
and
they
I'm
say.
coming over to smoke. When you're open for sure, people will know, like when they choose a new pope, you'll see Spike's cigar smoke coming out.
You know what actually I need from you, Spike?
Yes.
I need you to connect me with the humidor guy.
The humidor guy.
Yeah, the humidor guy.
I wish I was that connected.
Are you not the connect for the humidors?
I am not the connect.
Who's the connect
I'm
for
the cigar
humidor?
smoking guy. You mean you're going to build a big humidor?
Not like enormous, but like bookcase size humidor.
Wow, that's really cool.
We have a wine and whiskey lockers, a 24 locker bay.
Yeah,
and then we've got. I'm going to do a bookcase humidor.
That's
for the
a really great idea.
My engine block coffee tables just showed up. I got 2 engine block coffee tables, a Jaguar Cosworth V8 that goes downstairs. That's from the XJR15 race car, and then the one for the cigar lounge upstairs is a Bentley W12 block that's been dipped in chrome.
You know what this is like?
Awesome.
Over the top. This is like the Car World version of Dolly Parton Town. Or what is it called?
Dollywood. I've been to Dollywood. It rules.
Yeah, and she's there in this town she built. And now Matt Farah will be there in the storage place
Look
that you
for the
built.
big red F on the side of the building.
You should really. Do you have a throne there with a crown? And when you step past the threshold, these are the laws and the rules.
I'm going to go up on the lifts myself. I'll be up on the fourth
but I would imagine that would be a reason for people to sign up just to hang with you, right? And be part of the scene.
I think that some people have signed up for that purpose.
That's cool.
That's okay.
Well,
I don't
why
mind
not?
that. That's what we're here for.
What
if you want to pay my kind of prices to do that.
Dolly World? What is it called?
Westside Collector Car Storage. Oh, Dollywood? Yeah, Dollywood.
Farahwood.
Do you know where Dollywood is?
Farahwood.
It's in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Wow. Well,
it's exactly the kind of town you think it is based on that name.
We have closed on a very unexpected note, but there it is, ladies and gentlemen. You can catch up with me on Instagram. I'm Spike Ferguson on Instagram, and I like to chat with folks there, and we'll see you next week on Spike's Car Radio.
Thanks for listening to Spike's Car Radio. Download new episodes every Wednesday on the Podcast One app, or subscribe now at Apple Podcasts or PodcastOne.com.
Podcast One has some exciting news. It's official. Our shows are now available on Spotify, and it's free. We want to make it super easy for you and your friends to listen to our podcasts, and joining Spotify allows us to be in even more places for fans to find us. If you're already listening to music on Spotify, you can now listen to our podcasts in the same place. If you're not on Spotify yet, All you have to do is download the free app. That's right, no credit card necessary, and simply search for our shows to start listening.
You've worked hard for what you have. Your money, your assets, your 401k, and home. Isn't it all worth protecting? Nearly 1 in 4 consumers have been a victim of identity theft. LifeLock Ultimate Plus helps protect your finances with up to $3 million in reimbursement. LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you might miss. And if your identity is stolen, your dedicated U.S.-based restoration specialist will work to fix it. Let LifeLock help protect what you've worked so hard for. Save 25% off your first year on LifeLock Ultimate Plus at LifeLock.com/aware. Terms apply.